Turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and lock your doors. You have entered the world of the unknown. Welcome to the Dead Hour broadcast.
The heat in the village of Nijampur was different from the city. It didn't just burn, it clung to you, a heavy, wet blanket of oppression. Aryan wiped sweat from his forehead as the dilapidated yellow taxi bumped down the red dirt road, finally stopping in front of a wrought iron gate eaten away by rust. Beyond it stood Chhaya Bhaban, the House of Shadows. It was his inheritance, a massive colonial-era monstrosity his great-grandfather had built in the middle of nowhere. Aryan, a pragmatic software engineer from Dhaka, saw only dollar signs. He was here for 3 days, assess the property, hire a clearance crew, and put it on the market. The most striking feature, however, wasn't the crumbling portico, but the tree that loomed behind it. It was a banyan, ancient and grotesque. Its aerial roots hung down like the matted hair of a dead giant, thick enough to strangle the house itself. Even at high noon, the area beneath its canopy was pitch black. An old caretaker, Karim, met him with trembling hands. "Sir, don't stay past sunset," Karim whispered, refusing to make eye contact. "The air changes. The uni, she, doesn't like visitors." Aryan left it off. "Ghosts don't pay mortgages, Karim. I'll be fine." The first night, the silence was deafening. No city hum, just the chaotic symphony of crickets and frogs. Aryan set up a sleeping bag in the main hall, the least dusty room. Around 2 a.m., the sounds of the night abruptly stopped. The silence that followed was heavy, expectant. Then came the smell. It was overwhelming. The cloying, sweet scent of jasmine flowers, heavily mixed with the copper tang of old blood and wet earth. Scritch, scritch, scritch. It sounded like fingernails lightly dragging against the plaster on the other side of the wall, right behind his head. Aryan sat up, heart hammering. "Who's there? Karim?" The scratching stopped. A soft, wet giggle echoed through the cavernous hallway. It didn't sound human. It sounded like water draining from a sink. Aryan didn't sleep the rest of the night. The next day, while tearing down rotting bookshelves in the study, he found a leather-bound journal belonging to his great-grandfather. The entries were manic. October 14th, 1923. The deal is done. The land is ours. The entity and the Banyan demanded a price. Prosperity for 3 generations. But the 4th must pay the toll. I have doomed my bloodline. Aryan felt a chill that had nothing to do with the drafty house. He was the 4th generation. As twilight approached the second night, a storm rolled in. Lightning fractured the sky, illuminating the backyard in strobe light flashes. Aryan looked out the window towards the banyan tree. There was something hanging among the aerial roots. It looked like a woman, suspended by her neck, her body swaying violently in the wind, yet the roots around her were still. Terrified, Aryan grabbed his keys. To hell with the money. He ran to the front door, but it wouldn't budge. The wood had swollen, sealing him inside. The smell of jasmine returned, thick enough to taste. The temperature in the house plummeted. His breath fogged in the air. The scratching returned, louder now, coming from the ceiling, then the floorboards. Something was crawling inside the house structure, circling him. "Foolish boy." The whisper seemed to come from right beside his ear. He spun around, nothing. Suddenly, the heavy mahogany door to the backyard slammed open, letting the storm inside. Standing in the doorway was a figure dripping wet. It was a woman dressed in a tattered, mud-soaked white sari. Her head was bent at an unnatural angle, her hair covering her face. As she took a step forward, the floorboards groaned. She lifted her head. Where her eyes should have been, there were only hollow pits of darkness. Her mouth opened too wide, unhinging, letting out a shriek that sounded like wind tearing through a cavern. She didn't walk. She glided. her feet not touching the floor, moving toward him with terrifying speed. Aryan bolted up the stairs, his rational mind shattering. He barricaded himself in the uppermost bedroom, pushing an antique wardrobe against the door. The sounds from downstairs ceased. He waited for hours in the dark, clutching his phone, which had no signal. He must have dozed off from sheer exhaustion. He woke up to silence. The storm had passed. It was the gray light of dawn. He was alive. He carefully moved the wardrobe and opened the door. The house was empty. The smell was gone. He ran out of the house, not stopping for his bags, jumped into his car and floored the accelerator. The engine sputtered, but started. As he sped down the red dirt road, putting distance between himself and Chhaya Bhaban, he finally breathed a sigh of relief. He looked in the rearview mirror one last time. The house was small in the distance, but sitting in the back seat of his car, grinning at him with hollow eyes, was the woman in the white sari. The debt had been collected. She was coming home with him.
The story ends here, but the fear remains. If you want to survive the night, hit that subscribe button. And remember, don't look under your bed tonight.